if he has his mindset right and his relationship right, God is going to bless him with more because he's ready and he's increased his capacity. Because don't ask for more, ask for strength to manage what you have. Because if you can handle what you have right now, how can you handle more? Welcome to the God, Money, and Sex podcast. My name is Raul Villacis, and I'm here with my beautiful host,
Vivian Villacis. So excited to be here with you today.
End of summer.
Yay!
End of summer. The kids are back to school, back to a normal routine.
So excited about that.
I'm a little sad, to be honest with you. I'm a little sad.
You're always sad because you want to be with the kids.
I like to keep them. I like to keep my kids. You know, they're my like my little toys. I love to play with them.
Yes, I play with them enough. We had a whole great summer. We've done so much.
You know, there's a lot of my friends who, actually my brother, his son just went to school. And I feel like that's going to, just went to college, not going to school, just went to college. And I feel that's going to be me. Like when my son goes to college, we are going to college. I told my son, I told my daughter, I said, when you guys are going to college, we are going to college. I'm going to sign up. I'm going to be that dad.
No, when they go to college, remember we read that thing, we're building a red room.
We're there's two things are going to happen. Either or. We'll see. Well, today's topic, we're going to talk about two things because we couldn't make up our minds about what we're going to talk about today. Yeah. So I want to cover one topic and Vivian wants to cover another one, but let's just get in it. Let's just get in it. So, but I do appreciate you guys are following us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Thank you for the messages. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah. Whether it's positive or negative, we love it all. So if you want negative messages, it's okay. Just put the negative messages. We'll continue to work harder to earn your trust. Again, we're not talking about how you should live. We're just giving you insights based on our experience. We're not perfect. We're far from perfect. Hopefully, we could just help you with a little bit of the insights that we have here to get you to the next level with God, with your money, and also your relationship with sex.
That's right. That's all that this is about. 19 years of experience. If we haven't killed each other yet, we just want to give you guys some insight of what you could do through learning through your own experiences.
Yeah, and also at the same time, like we are around some amazing people. You know, I coach hundreds of men who are making a difference, hundreds of men who are making millions of dollars. So I'm actually able to take some of those experiences and share with the audience so that way they'll have perspective. So, and
I think also too, like we are around so many amazing mentors that, you know, like we go through different seminars and mentors, like we get so much knowledge that it's
we're
like,
students of
how
life.
can we not share this information? Like this, nobody taught us this stuff when we were going through our marriage. Nobody, you know, even, I know that there's information out there that you can look it up, but it's like, if someone doesn't bring this stuff up and make it aware, it's like, oh, you would never know. You would never really think about it. So I think, you know, if that's the only thing that we do for them is just to allow them a little bit more of that sense of awareness in a relationship.
And that's what we're doing. Awareness of the pain that you're going to go through. So let's start the topic. I had a conversation yesterday. I was invited to speak at an event, in a mastermind event in New York City. Yeah. I usually don't do speaking engagement anymore because my schedule is tight. And, you know, we have kids, we have businesses, we have a lot of things to do. But, you know, for some reason, I was called to be at this event. I had another engagement, Forbes magazine later on that day, but I figured I'm going to stop by earlier on, and then I'll stop by Forbes. So I stopped by, and it was great. It was great. There was a bunch of people who are new to the entrepreneurship game, and there were some old people that, you know, been doing it for a while. Mm-hmm. So when I hit the stage and I presented, you know, they introduced me as the motivational guy. And you know how I feel about that. Like, I'm far from being motivational. I'm far from being like, I like to inspire people, get it. But like, if you put me in that motivational speaking box, like automatically something triggers in me and I want to bring in the heat, right? So when you introduced me, I said, okay, so, you know, here's a room full of entrepreneurs. 99% of you will fail. Only 1% will make it after 5 years. Another 1%, only 1% is going to make over $1 million a year. So the chances of you surviving the entrepreneurship game is very, very small.
I bet they didn't feel motivated.
So they're looking like, right, is this the guy going to motivate us? Is this the guy who's going to inspire us?
Take him out, please.
And I said, write down, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And I start asking questions. And the guy says, well, I want more freedom, or I want more money, or I want to be my own boss. I said, well, that's the wrong reason to start a business. Because the reality is you're not going to have more freedom. You're going to be working twice as much. You're not, yes, you're going to be your own boss, but you're also going to be your own employee.
You have to be so dedicated to your business and the money that you have to invest and the time that you need to invest.
I'm talking about money. Like, you want to make more money. Yes, but at the beginning, you have to invest money to make money. So all those reasons to start entrepreneurship journey, if you don't have the right mindset, knowing that this is something that is for you, you're going to fail. And that's probably why 90% of the people fail in business.
Yeah. And then it's the same thing in marriage. Like, a lot of the people, you know, I'm thinking like they're getting into the marriage mentality. Like, we're going to have more sex and we're going to have more time and we're going to have all this like beautiful lifetime together. But it's not that. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of money. It takes investing in yourself. And I think like we forget to do that. People forget like, what is it? What is the reality of what it's really going to take?
Business is not a fairy tale. I told him, I said, you want to see the Lamborghinis? You want to see the Ferraris? I mean, that's not the reality.
That's
the reality,
like you said, the 1%.
The reality is, even at 1%, I just got on the phone with a guy who was making $50 million a year. Mm-hmm. Had the Ferraris, had the cars, had everything, and then lost it all. So that's not like an uncommon. It's not like, no. If you make the money, eventually, as an entrepreneur, it's like we're going up and down because we love to take risks. The market shifts, the market changes. And if you don't have the stomach for it, you're going to find yourself in the pit.
And maybe not also the stomach, but I think maybe the wisdom to like not have all your eggs in one basket.
And not just that, is if put it this way, the guy's making $50 million now he's only making $1 million a year. Okay. Lifestyle between 50 and $1 million is like, might as well being welfare for the guy mentally, right? Because that's a mental shift.
Because you lost.
It's a mental shift because you lost. You lost so much. It's kind of like when you're climbing up a building, falling down a building out of the first floor might not kill you. You might break a leg, but it might not kill you. Falling from the second, it hurt you a little bit. But falling from the 50th floor, it kills most people. It kills their relationship. It kills their health. It kills their self-esteem. So get a guy to coming from $1 million to 50 is gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, and then also I think like their ego. It's as a man, like I've seen it happen with you. It's like when you've lost great deals of like buildings and all these things, it's like if you were to come home and I would beat you down for something that you lost, because eventually it was like our money. If you came home and if I did that to you, I think I would beat you up even more than you already beat yourself up.
And that's the conversation I had with him. Okay, so how's your relationship? How did they so his wife's actually stayed with him.
Yeah.
But now, like in his mind is like, okay, once I make my money back, I'll have my relationship back again. When the reality is like, I told him on the phone, it's like, your wife is not waiting for you to make the money back. Your wife wants you to have a purpose. Because see, now we talk about getting into the entrepreneurship game. If you want to be a businessman, it can't be just about the money, because the money you're going to make or you're going to lose. If I start a business, it's because I cannot be anything else.
Yeah.
So then we were talking before we started the podcast, like if you want to get married, why should you get married?
I mean, I think a lot of people have the wrong expectations of what the marriage would look like. But the real reason you get married is like you love the person. You can't live without the person. And it's the same thing for a business. Like you start a business because it's more something like it becomes your livelihood. It becomes your purpose. It becomes something that you want to get up every day. Like you say, I always hear you say, like, I can't wait to get up tomorrow and to serve the men that are around me. I can't wait, to just be there for them.
And it was in every stage. When when I started the real estate business.
Oh yeah, you were the same.
It was like, I can't wait to do this. It's like if you are creating a business that is dragging you and is draining you, you're in the wrong business. You need to figure out what gets you up every single morning.
And that happens. I think that's how you started at the beginning. Like you were so into it and you gave it your all. But then it was that transition and that shift. It's like that was no longer serving you, or it was not serving the people that you were.
When I was no longer excited to get up every single morning to make money. When I was no longer excited to get up every single morning to go into the office.
You had to make changes.
I had to make a shift. I started realizing I had to shift my vision, shift my purpose, and create a bigger dream or a bigger vision. So I think that's what happens to marriages. The moment that you wake up every morning and you can't
I'm here with the same person next to me.
But I don't think that people have the misconception that you're supposed to be in a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And it's not a fairy tale. It is far from a fairy tale, a happy marriage. And so how do you shift from a woman's perspective? How do you shift every morning? You're gonna be like, I have to get up next to this guy again. How to get up next to this man again? Like, how do you make that shift in your mind to actually get excited to do that every morning?
Well, for me, I have to say, like, I look at you and there's always something new that I learn. And I always tell you this, like, I love you every single day because there's something new. And even though like the day before, if I hated you for something, I find something new to love you for it. And I continue to grow in our relationship, continue to grow myself in my relationship. And I think it's mostly like just finding something beautiful, something loving about you.
And I think that's where the mirror comes in, right? Like you are a mirror. Like when you're looking at me, it's a mirror of you. So I think we're people who are understand, like if you expecting your partner to be happy, if you expecting your partner to make you happy, you're gonna go down that road. It's the same road as if you're expecting your business to give you more freedom.
Yeah.
You start a business because you're fighting for freedom, not because it's gonna give you freedom. Mm-hmm. You get into a marriage because you cannot live without that person, not because you're expecting that person to make you happy.
Yes.
So when you have a different perspective and that shift, the different expectations, then you in it and you know you're gonna make it because you're not expecting those people to make you happy or your business to give the freedom that you want.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing. And I think like that's what divorce rate is so high, because it's like you get into this marriage and you're expecting something completely different. And then when you're there, you're like, I can't handle all of this. Like there was no way this guy is going to make me happy. But really, like we've come such a long way. Like we've been married 19 years and
September is going to be 19 years.
Yeah, 19 years. Yay. And like I wouldn't say every year, I would just say like every day I learn something new, not just about you, but like I said, about myself. And I don't know, it's just sometimes like it blows my mind. It's how complicated we make marriage, but at the same time, how simple it could be to be able to get along, to be able to have a good communication, to be able to have really not, and I guess it sounds bad, but not a lot of like huge expectations.
So the secret for marriage, according to Vivian, is have low expectations of your man. I love it. I mean, listen.
It sounds so bad. It sounds so bad.
I think it's not low expectations. It's like give everything, expect nothing. It's like don't expect that.
That sounds much better.
That's better. Give everything you have and expect nothing. But at the same time, like I don't think we walk around saying I expect nothing of you.
No,
I think we walk around like here is what I would like to happen, and you do it because you love to give, and I do it because I love to give. And I think that's when we stop expecting things from each other and we just started just giving because that's what we wanted to do.
And then things will eventually happen. Like there was a lot of things that I wish you would have done for me, like especially in the earlier years of marriage. Like I wish you would have done specific things for me, but if that didn't happen, I didn't take my love away. Like I still continue to work at it. I didn't walk away from my marriage. I didn't want to walk away from giving you what I
So now let's talk about the topic that you wanted to talk about. Like, okay, so you didn't want to walk away and you were in pain, right?
Yes.
You're in pain. So like I'm going through right now a relationship with one of my employees, and I had to let him go. But he was a good employee, but he was bringing me more pain than pleasure, right? The balance between the things I could handle versus my standard, it was tilted.
Yes.
So how do you deal with that? Because you dealt with a lot of pain with me, but you stuck around until we evolve and things paid off. How do you make that transition? How do you know that it's going to pay off? Because a lot of women right now that are in a relationship with a guy and they're in pain, but they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Same thing with men. They don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I know. And that's like a tricky thing, because pain is something like you get accustomed to the pain. Like, there's like a toothache or something, like, that you have to go to the dentist, but you just rather like, okay, ignore it. Ignore the pain that it's there, but you feel it from time to time. And it's like, until you feel enough pain to make a change, then until my tooth really, like I can't eat no more, then probably I'll go to the dentist.
Then you take it out.
Yeah.
And then you go to an expert, and then you seek help. And I think that's the main thing. And where I'm going with this is like, if you're in pain, there's two things that could happen. You either get accustomed to pain,
which a lot of us do.
A lot of us do. Okay, it's bad.
Not as bad.
But it's not as bad. Yeah. I'm going to put up with this employee. I'm going to put up with this with my
Relationship.
partner. I'm going to put up with this, right?
Yeah.
So the pain is not until you have enough pain that you do something about it, then things are going to change.
Yes.
Because now, like, I had to fire my employee. I had to let him go. But then 3 months later, he called me. Actually, right before this podcast, he called me and I said, I want to have the conversation as long as there's changes.
Yeah.
Because I'm no longer going to tolerate to be in pain from that relationship.
Yeah.
So I think in relationships, the same thing is like because you didn't give me an ultimatum, but you let me know, okay, I'm not happy in this, but I'm sticking with it because I believe that it could get better.
Yeah, there was like that little bit of faith that you know that it
But
could
it was
change.
communication, and it wasn't like, okay, you know, I'm gonna wait for you to change. That was like, I need this to change, otherwise this is not going. Like we're gonna be miserable.
And then that's when you get really clear as to what you need in your life. It's like, okay, this is what I will no longer tolerate. And I can't go back to feeling the same pain because you know what it feels like and it hurts so much and it's like so uncomfortable. But yet at the same time, it becomes, you know, something that you're used to. Not until there's enough pain that you walk away from it.
And you get what you tolerate. If you tolerate pain in your relationship, you're going to get that, or you're going to get numb. You're tolerating, you know, pain with a connection with God. And sometimes I did a video this morning.
Yeah, I saw that. So
and I said, you know, we pray to God that, you know, our life will get easier. And we're constantly praying. And I remember 3 years ago, I was at the beach. I was doing meditation. I was praying and like, God, make my life easier. You know, make this, you know, this opportunity, you know, show me the path, right? Show me the path. We want God to come in and kind of hand us over the platter.
Yeah, like mold the way to it.
Like here is like the special instructions. But then when I realized after finishing that prayer and I felt like, you know, God was saying, stop praying for life to get easier. Start praying to get stronger.
Yes.
And then that was a profound moment for me because I started realizing that I was praying or I was asking God to give me something that I wasn't ready to receive. I was asking him to give me something that I didn't have the capacity to even hold on to. And I think that's what happens to a lot of businesses, that we're asking, oh, I want the success, I want this, but then we're not ready for it. We're not ready for it. And we fuck it up because we don't have the capacity to maintain it. And that's what happened. Like this guy, $50 million a year in business, he fucked it up. He wasn't ready for it. But now I told him he had a Jesus moment, like, oh shit, Jesus, now help me. Now I'm a believer.
Yeah.
But now if he has his mindset right and his relationships right, God is going to bless him with more because he's ready and he's increased his capacity. Because don't ask for more. Ask for strength to manage what you have. Because if you can handle what you have right now, how can you handle more?
That is so true. And that I think also comes from that is one of the great gifts behind the pain, that you're able to like expand from the pain, and it gives you such great lessons behind it. Like, you know, just thinking back in like our marriage, the capacity of the patience that I have, it's not because of me, but it's because of all the confrontations that we had, and like be able to really like find another way instead of just yelling at each other, and finding other ways instead of like hurting each other, allowed me to look for other ways to speak to you, to find a different way to communicate. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do.
They don't look for the expert. They don't study. They don't read. Because every time I turn around and you're reading something about how to understand men, how to understand. Every time you're a student of the game. The same thing with me. I'm constantly consuming some more information so I could apply it. And I think that's where, like the toothache analogy, right? Until it hurts enough, then you gotta go to the dentist.
Then you gotta take it out and you lose a tooth.
They lose a tooth, they take it out, but you will look for an expert to advise you and to help you.
Yes.
I think same thing in business. I mean, we had one of my clients did a video the other day, and he talked about like, look at my bank account, or if I could look at your bank account, I could tell you exactly where your marriage is, where your business is, where your health is, because we don't, like, we
where you
invest
spend your money.
So much money focusing on business or everything else, but we don't spend money on our relationship or in our health.
That's right. Where we spend our time too. Like we spend our time looking at Facebook or TV or like nonsense stuff that takes so much energy and time from us. It's like, how much time are you really investing into your own relationship? How much time are you investing into the people that you love?
But until you have enough pain, you won't do anything about it. So pain for me, pain is a gift. And I teach my clients all the time, like, use pain as fuel.
Yeah.
So pain is a gift, use pain as fuel.
And I always say, like, there's a gift behind pain. There's always a gift, and it seems...
But we don't see it. When we're going through pain,
at that moment, no, you don't
see
it. I know you don't see it.
I mean, look, just not going too far. This week, I went to a Drake concert with my son. We had an amazing time. I mean, it was an epic time. We were in the front row.
Yeah, it was like first concert.
You know, it was first concert for him, and it was in the Madison Square Garden. I mean, it's a dream of mine to fill the Madison Square Garden with the next level experience. So it was kind of like I anchored that moment, and we get a chance to actually be in the front row, and we were, you know, watching the whole performance of Drake being there. And my son is like with his phone and taking pictures and selfies. So I felt like a proud dad, right?
Right.
We're coming home. and we were just talking about the experience, and we were just so into it. And then a deer crashes the car, and it was like a moment that things could have changed.
Yeah.
And then I thought I killed a deer. I thought like there was no chance. Like I don't want to get off the car because I don't want to have that experience with my son to see like blood and wrecked. So I just kept on driving. I said, let's see what happens. We were like 5 minutes away from home. When I got home, it was no blood. It was the car.
It was just an impact.
It was the impact of the car, but it was no blood. The next day, I went back to the place that we hit the deer, and I went early to see if there was a dead deer in the road, but it wasn't there. So the deer survived. The car needs to go to the shop, but that's a different story. But I was so grateful that it could have gone any other way if we were not protected by grace. Any other way. There was a tree in the side. There was a little cliff. Even like if the deer would have hit me in the side and I would have turned to the left, I would have banged the car. Like something, my son probably would have gone flying from one side. Like so many things could have happened. And at that moment, the pain was like, shit, I have to pay for the crash. There's time. I have to, put the car in the shop. All those things at the mind at that moment. Yeah. Well, the next morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the next
morning.
At that moment, I was in shock.
That.
I'm like,
yeah.
Why did this happen? And we always ask the question, like, why is this happening to us?
Yeah.
And the next morning, I wake up and my mind started running all the patterns of looking at the worst case scenario. So it wasn't until I realized how blessed we were and how grace was able to actually save us from a worst case scenario.
Yes.
I was actually thanking God. I was like, thank you for protecting my son and I from having an experience. And maybe the gift here is for us to realize that we are not promised tomorrow. That if something would have happened that day, would have ended like in an epic experience with my son.
Yeah.
But that's the gift of the pain. But I didn't see it at the beginning. I was able to see it afterwards after putting all the pieces together.
And sometimes we're too blinded by that. Like we take so long to be able to see that. Like, and I think one of the things that if you're listening, like there is always a gift. And if we could just get away from the negative, like you were saying, like, you couldn't think of anything else. Like if we could just step away from that, if we could really like look at it with a grateful heart, you'll be able to find something good in what just happened.
So let's wrap it up for the guys who are listening right now. So number one is if you're going to start a business or start a marriage, the first thing is don't start, like know why you're starting. Yeah. And the one advice.
And know that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. And it's going to take a huge amount of effort to make things work.
And stop praying for things to get easier. Start praying for you to get stronger.
That's
because when you start a business, you need to have the strength and capacity to maintain the business. When you start a marriage, you have to have the strength and capacity to maintain the marriage. Nothing that is worthwhile is ever easy.
That's right.
And the second thing is pain. There's always a gift behind this pain. And if you're looking for what's wrong in life, you're always going to get it. But you have to start looking for what is right. What's the blessing? What's the gift? What is God protecting you from? What's grace saving you from?
And He saves us from so much. So I think if we take the time to give that God the glory, or the universe or the stars, or whoever you believe in, then everything else will follow.
That's it. I'm going to close it up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Check us out on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us everywhere except for the bedrooms. We'll keep it private. Learn it.
Live it.
Experience it.
Love life.